This is The Healthy Healer, where true voice is your medicine. This is where we help doctors and other healers navigate through the challenging times by learning from the best minds in the healing industry. Laugh, cry, and be surprised. It's entertainment, education, and inspiration so you can continue to be the unique and amazing healer you were destined to be. Welcome to humanity. Welcome to The Healthy Healer with Dr. Fred.
Hello, everyone, and it's Dr. Fred coming back on the same week as the amazing conversation that we just had with Dr. Ben Rall. So Dr. Ben grew up in South Dakota, and there he was lived on a certain kind of Midwest life, nondescript, like actually just growing up as a child in the I suppose in the country area of South Dakota, and eventually learned that he had a lot of fight in him. He was a raucousy guy, and he kind of steamrolled people, and he lived the fighter's life, the big man's life, and he regrets some of who he was at the time. But in any case, he learned how to be a fighter, and then he learned how to be a boxer, and then he learned how to be a great boxer, and in fact was on his way to his Olympics in 1996 before he got sick. And life took a different turn for him. At that point, when getting sick, he tried out some allopathic approaches to what was going on with him, which was a bunch of ulcers inside of his GI tract and his esophagus. And they didn't work too well. Things got worse. It didn't get better for him. And he tried many different interventions from different specialists, and eventually was instructed or directed or inspired to go see a chiropractor, and that's where all the change took place. So he made it his business to become a chiropractor, and that's what he has become over time. And not just a chiropractor, but a super committed, dedicated chiropractor who is clearly changing lives of anybody he puts his hands onto, because he brings out the very best. And how he does that is by being the fighter that he is, by being the fighter for humanity, by coming up off the mat so easily. This is someone who has found his way to his own healing, found his way to his own truth, found his way to his own purpose in life, and has done that through actually walking the walk of someone who has been with adversity, who has dealt with pain, who has dealt with suffering, not only of himself, but of others. He's dealt with family suffering, and with the suffering of his clients or patients, and with the suffering of friends and people that he knew. And he was able to really step into his power of what chiropractic has to offer, which is extraordinary in its own right. And he's gone through a couple changes even inside of his business. So the idea was that he came through a business change, and was then a husband, and then a father, and then he was nearly bankrupt, and he had his own very difficult times that had him getting off the mat when the count was up to 8 or 9 and it was ready to call the curtains on him. And by doing that, he recognizes that his adversity built his character that allowed him to become the substantial healer that he has now become in life. So I'd like you to take a look at yourself in this way. Where in your life have you been knocked down to the mat? Where in your life have you faced adversity that looked like you had no chance of getting to the other side of? And as you sit here today, you are on the other side of it. Now, some of you are going through adversity right now. In fact, most of us are going through some form of adversity as I speak. Very few of us are living a free and easy life right now. These are challenging, difficult, times that are filled with obstacles and hurdles. And I'm really asking you to look at the times when you have had victory, when you have had triumph, when you have succeeded. And in those times, what did that look like to overcome what was in your way, to actually go over the top of the things that were preventing you from getting the life that you wanted, or preventing you from being healed, preventing you from getting the life that you deserve, from being the change you want to be in the world? This is what Dr. Rall represents. And it really was inspiring to speak with him. And it reminds me that so often the path to being a healed healer includes massive adversity. Most of our guests who have really become committed and dedicated to being healers, excuse me, have had massive adversity. And that's the opportunity for you to take a look at here is, Where is the massive adversity that you may have had that has either blocked you or is blocking you now that can actually present itself as food or as fuel for the growth and development that is inevitably on the other side of it? You are a healer. Do you get that? You are a healer for all the people that you know. By creating the possibility for them to grow and develop, you have become a healer. By listening curiously to what it is they have to say or what it is that they stand for, you are a healer. What people want more than anything, and we've said this a number of times on this podcast, is to be seen and heard for who they really are. And you can be that person, even if you don't have a degree as a doctor, even if you've never been a counselor or a mentor or a priest or any kind of listener, any kind of, any kind of paid, trained listener. You already are a listener. Have you ever noticed that when someone hears you, there is a sense of opening, a sense of uh, fresh air, a sense of groundedness that occurs because someone actually heard you and saw you for who you really are? You get to be that for the people in your world. There is nothing actually more rewarding than being a healer for another person. And the best way to do that, reminding us all the way through that these are the skill sets that we already own, is to be curious and to be a listener and to actually have compassion for the path of another person. You can do that. You can do that through honest conversation, through authentically listening from the soul that you really are. So the more aligned you are with yourself, and that sometimes you have to have the snot beat out of you to become that person, like to really knock off the cobwebs, to move away the things that are preventing you from being simply you. When that happens, you get to resonate much clearer with the rest of humanity who all have that core self. And as one, we get to listen to each other and actually cause and be functionally responsible for the growth and development as well as for the healing of another person inside of that listening. I invite you to take a look at where you have adversity and where you can transmute that into growth and development that leads you into being an even sounder, an even more effective healer through your capacity now to relate to another person and to put forth that important human connection, which we have stated many times before is at the heart of all healing of all conditions of all types. Thank you for listening to Dr. Rall earlier this week, and thank you for being here with me. If you like the show, I'd love for you to kind of comment on it, like it, or share it. It goes a long way if you subscribe. It helps us get our show out there, and that's what we need so other people can benefit from, like you're benefiting from the guests that I have on The Healthy Healer. So thanks for being here again. We will catch you on the flip side. Bye for now. Dr. Fred, I was signing off.